So you was just about to give up on construction, and now you're getting some motion. You're wondering, how do you carry this on? You carry this on by not looking back. That's right. Looking forward is the main thing when it comes to having your direction, especially when it comes to your attention, innit? I think a lot of the time being in construction, yeah, you look at some of the things what might have happened to you, and you're trying to learn some type of lesson from these types of things, which is difficult sometimes, but it's hard upon yourself as well. Just need to check that this thing's on, right? So when I mean it's hard upon yourself, I mean some of the things which happen are just the weirdest things. Do you get it? Like, there's been many times when I thought to myself, you know what? Well, just jack all this stuff in, because I've put so much into it, and what am I getting out of it? But you're not the only person who feels like that. That's why I make these types of videos, to make it kind of like normal to go through these types of things and to understand that it's a process, isn't it? It might be a healing process coming from something when you feel like you're being done bad by somebody else. That's something that you can like kind of like take with yourself to all different types of jobs. It could be your attitude towards things. It can change how people view yourself, isn't it? So that's one thing I've definitely learned about myself, which I know other people have learned about themselves. But whether they say it or not is a whole different story. Me, we keep it 100 on my show. We just tell the truth, and it's the truth what I've lived. It's not anybody else's truth. So I'm not really bothered if you totally agree with what I'm saying. I say what I say to be able to make it comfortable for others to be able to be in that same room and to say how they feel. At the end of the day, to say that most men are not emotional, that's stupid. Like, of course they are, but it's whether they choose to say it and be open with themselves. And being open with yourself is not you being insecure or nothing. It's just you being honest, innit? People mistake these things within life so much. They think, oh, well, you're being too emotional. You should just get along with it. Who are you, Dr. Phil? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Nobody's doing that stuff. This isn't a place to do that. It's a place where you talk about stuff and you get a little bit of reasoning, and you go back and you say to yourself, I've learned something, or I know something different to what I didn't know before. So one thing I would say on my journey in construction, yeah, it's not been the easiest journey. Whether it's where I am, like in London, whether it's me, whether it's others, it's just not been easy, and it's not been easy for a lot of people because having motion, and I will talk about the title. It says having motion in it. Motion means momentum in it. The young people use it. I just want to always bring people up to the time with the slang of what people say. If you're a boss man, D-Lo man, you know what I mean. If you got motion, you got emotion. If you ain't got no motion, you just won't get it. And that's just a saying which I want to keep with, because people have to understand the lingo of the way how we all speak is all different. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's corporate or not, is your business. This is YouTube. Do you get what I mean? This is not corporate business. Well, it's a corporate anyway. It is, but it's not. Anyway, it's not, because it's just content. It's content for context. You get what I mean, right? So when it comes to your doubts and all that, it's okay to have some doubts, even within yourself. People oftenly said to me, oh, but where are you going to go with your thing and all that? Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I'm searching for direction. Sometimes there is no motion in what I'm doing, and I need to put some more momentum behind it, or get one or two things going so I can get onto other things. So this year started off super slow for me, and I think I've spoke to a few other people, and they've let me know that it's not really popping for them, which is okay. Like, I think in this industry, it can be up and can be down. When it starts to get sunny and stuff like that, there's some hair in my hair. And when it starts to get sunny, more jobs start to pop up, and there is a frequency for people being more employed in a certain time of the year. And you know, like what goes on in the country matters as well, because I have been having conversations with my friend about it, actually. Weirdly, I don't never really talk about the news and all the type of stuff what's going on, but I understand from my own point of view that has a direct effect on others in it, because money is in different places. Necessity for this, budgets for that, everything's being cut, but we all still need to buy bread and eat and, you know, live life, innit? You don't want your bills and stuff to get on top of you. Um, so that can just weigh you down at some points. And you can feel like, you know what, why am I putting all my eggs in one basket? I made a post about putting eggs in one basket. I realized to myself that it's the wrong thing to do at the end of the day. Like, you've got to be a man of or woman of many skills or different traits. So being able to do social media for me has always kept doors open and allowed me to earn a bit of money when it comes to something like that. But it's not something which I do full time. I understand me making content, I'll be getting better at it. Me doing YouTube, I will be getting better at it. This year has been blinding from the start. I think within my first month of me doing my lives and being able to get on and talk to the people who do follow me, I've been able to gain over 350 subs, so new subs. So thank you all, and thank you all to the people that watch my content, because daily I try and come up with these types of lives where I talk to you about a scenario which is, you know, having no emotion in construction. It's a thing. Some people are just going through the steps, which is okay for others, but not for myself. I want just a little bit more, and I'm always seeking the best opportunity for myself. So opportunities, you think when you're younger, yeah, you get them opportunities like given to you from the universe, because I just think there's a compelling energy to you when you're young, right? And this is not me taking any away from anything who people who are older, because some people who are older hold that wisdom and hold that he's got it or she's got it vibe. And that might be you and that might not be you. But how do you get that? How do you get that source? How do you get to that place where you can hold that corner? Um, some of it is understanding the values which you possess, isn't it? I always tell people the value what you possess as an individual is very unique to you. It's nobody has got that style. No one's got the style of myself. Maybe the way someone says to myself, "Oh, you're very confident on your lives when you do this because I watch your videos and blah blah blah. I like the way you present yourself." Again, this is over time. If I watch some of my old videos, super cringe, super like, oh, did I do that? Yeah, of course I've done that. But I've done that to get to this point, which was learning the fact of being able to present something in a way which I feel is a good representation of myself. Do you get it? I've not had any training or anything like that. Yeah, I've been on a lot of stuff, but there's not training for something like this. The only training I've had is preparing myself in my mind to be able to present myself in a way which I feel is necessary. Do you get it? And that brings me to like your self-esteem. Your self-esteem can go up and go down depending on how good you're doing at points, sometimes how bad you're doing. I've tried to do my best when I've presenting myself, when I'm showcasing anything which I feel is important. I try to break it down in ways which I know people are going to understand, but are you going to really get it? My whole point is making people understand and get what I'm saying. Is when you haven't got an emotion, when you haven't got an emotion like going for you in construction, you're demotivated, you're uncomfortable, you might have not have the money coming in what you need coming in, and it deflates you as a person. Like, you got to understand the things which bring you up and make you feel good about yourself. You don't have those things to hand at the time, so how do you deal with it? I think you deal with it by admitting that those things are maybe a chapter which is closed and you're looking to open a brand new chapter. Brand new chapters allow you new opportunities, new doors will open. Hopefully, you'll be able to earn more money than what you was earning before. That's what I strive for, is earning more. And if not the same, again, building yourself back up is a process, isn't it? And I feel that when most people, when they fall down, man or woman, yeah, see the way you spring back up into action is all you. It's all something which you possess. And you say to yourself, like, oh, if I ever get into this position again, I'll do this different and I'll do that different. You have to live by that. You have to kind of like learn your lesson yourself and try to make situations stop teaching you lessons. That's my understanding on what I've learned from it, is that every time when I felt like I'm wanting to quit or do something or feel like, oh, this isn't working, I'm doing this too much, I just need to readjust the way I'm thinking about it and my approach, because my goal is probably going to be the same, but the approach and the way it's going isn't always working. So instead of being frustrated about it, which I can definitely be, it's natural to get frustrated about a situation where you're not getting the outcomes what you want. Because what you want, what you deserve, and what is you can there's three different topics there. Do you get it? I try and define what I want, what I need, and what is. They're just what they are, and that's how they seem to go sometimes when it comes to me looking at construction and looking at the ways where I can implement it, or where I can implement myself in good situations for myself. Obviously, I think this building online and stuff like that is something new to me. At the end of the day, yes, I've always had a Instagram account, which is nearly on the way to 10,000 followers. So if you're not following me, it's linked in my description in all of my videos and my TikTok as well. And if you're a Facebook person as well, we'll get in there as well. But I'm broadening my horizons with contacts and information, but also different people as well. And like, people reach out to you on different type of platforms, which I'm thankful for. Again, the YouTube community has been very nice to me, who dropping loads of comments on my last videos and enjoying some of the posts which I have been making. But seriously, being in construction is not for the faint-hearted. I will tell people that straight up. It's very volatile. It could be up and down. You could have someone that makes money with you today, and boom, you just never see them again, because they're off and doing something else, or they're off on a different project and doing something else for 6 months. You fall out of contact with them. So the range of content, the range of contacts, what you need, yeah, needs to be a big bag of people. You need to make your contacts as strong as you can by talking with them, obviously showing them what you can do. I feel that that's very important, and people look for good people, but there is always going to be a little shortage of jobs when it comes to construction. You have to understand that. So this is why I say having a good network, knowing the right people, and um, making sure that you're in some type of contact with them, whether it's shoot them a text, whether it's shoot them a quick email, letting people know that you stand on your business. So standing on your business is making sure that if you do get an interview, you normally crush it. If you do have to work with a company, you're going to do your due diligence and find out about them. So it seems like you are interested, because when I wasn't doing that, yeah, and I was having interviews, or when I was looking for jobs, that I think was the icing on the cake, because when I started to find out about what I wanted to go into, it allowed them to say, oh, okay, this person's researched us, this person has looked into us, and everybody else probably hasn't, when it comes to questions, when it comes to answers, when it comes to just building. And people like the fact that you do stuff yourself. I think me having a platform and being able to talk about construction positively and negatively, because there has to be both, um, that allows people to see that I've got a lot of transparency when it comes to my delivery, but also the truth. The truth will always set you free. That will be a saying which will never go away. So being honest with my community is something which I'm proud of, just because At the end of the day, I don't see people doing it. Remember, I'm not trying to sell you a dream of to get into this industry. I just try and tell you what it's like for myself, because getting into anything, nobody wants to just let you in. Do you get it? People want you to work your way in, work your way up, which isn't a problem, but you want your work to be recognized, and you want to take the rewards from your hard labor at the end of the day, yeah? So my hard labor tends to be the work which I do physically with my hands. So I choose to film my content, but also allow my content to have conversation go on it. People ask me conversation about it, like, what did you do today? What is this job? Like, how comes you're using those tools? I would do this and I would do that. Conversation in the community only creates some type of awareness, but it also allows people to understand a little bit more about you. That's what that's taught me in my comment section, is it allows people to understand a little bit more about me. Sometimes people say mad things, but again, I'm a big man in my 30s. I'm not bothered about that. Definitely not. You're gonna get that. But on the confidence side of it, your confidence can be bruised by anybody, your supervisor, your manager, your line manager, just by telling you something which maybe they didn't look into fully, or you feel was not necessary for them to say to you. It's happened to me. Um, I don't choose to challenge people so much, because some things I know that you hold no purpose in challenging them. You challenge them in that position, they're gonna see it. Is he challenging their um, commands or their authority or something like that? We ain't in school, innit? There is no authority. You're not the police neither. It's just a workplace. But again, I get it. And when you are in those places, you adhere to those rules, innit? And those rules are not being bullied. Those rules are people treating you fairly. And everybody doesn't get treated fairly within construction. I know this firsthand through experiences which I've seen, the life which I've lived, being on site, going to loads of different sites, hearing people talk, and just sitting back and analyzing the situation. If I can work out what's going on here within a day, I either might not want to be here, by come the next week, or I might decide that this is not a place for me, or this is not a place long term. And that for me is okay, because I've understood that being in this construction industry, a lot of jobs are not forever, and them not being forever means that, not that you don't have to be yourself, you could be yourself, but putting all your eggs into that thing is just not necessary, because it's not forever. When they do find a cheaper solution, or someone who they can just maybe mug off a little bit more, they might replace you. And again, being replaced is one door closing and another door opening. Oftenly we look at it as negative, but you have to look at it as nothing lasts forever. And when you take that understanding, unless you're looking to settle down somewhere, um, you just keep it moving. And I think we just keep it moving with the regards that, you meet people at different points of your journey. And when someone told me that life is like a chapter of books, a chapter in a book, I was like, for real, that is it so is like that, because at certain points I thought, oh, I'm at my ideal job. I've told people about it before. I made a post about it. My ideal dream job turned disaster, basically. And that could happen overnight because of circumstances which might be out of your control, or circumstances which you see, and there's situations which get out of control just because of the way how other people act, or because how you act, or how someone approaches the situation. Having training for life and training for all different types of situations, diversity, problems, um, complaints, there's not many workplaces that do have any things for that. Because if you ask a manager, like, when was the last time you went on a course for complaints or for disciplinaries and all that, they would say they've never been on one. They've just read what the company code of conduct is. That is it. But I think people need to have more awareness training, because the workplace is unaware of a lot of the things which go on, whether it's unjust within people's behavior, discrimination for someone because of their race, or another form of discrimination, which might be, I've had people, and I've heard people before say, oh, this person's not clever, so blah 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 blah, like implying that they're dumb. But again, there is no IQ test on this job. If there was an IQ test, we would have done it from the beginning. And if it was relevant for someone to be really, really much more smarter than the other person, it would have been said from the beginning. It's never. But people want to bring a lot of these personal things like into the picture. But how to deal with it is, I dealt with it in ways of focusing on being calm and focusing on myself and my plans. It's not to say that those other plans are not helping me. They do help me move forward in such a way, but I don't rely on them, because I know that not at any point, at some point, the plug could be pulled. I've had it done to me before, so therefore I try to keep my spirits high within surrounding myself by the things which uplift me within life. So me doing my social media, me doing social and stuff like that, it is totally separate from my 9 to 5 job. And I like that, because that's me when I'm online, and this is me when I'm at this job, which is just trying to make sure that I do the best job that I can do. And if I can help out, try and help out. Over the last, I would say, 5 6 years, if I finish most of my 9 to 5 jobs, or the jobs which I've got to do, I regularly ask for more work, because I don't want to be seen as the person who is lazy. There's an understanding to say, I'm not lazy. I will do that. Of course, I will do that as long as it's in the time, and I'm not breaking myself to do it. Of course, I will do it. I've went above and beyond, and I've looked at other people inside the workplace, and I've said, you don't really do a lot, but I've never said it to them, because I've heard many stories. You know, the person who used to do above and beyond is the person that just does the bare minimum and goes home now. Because they might be scorned by the workplace, someone might have done something to them, or people are trying to hold them back in certain ways of development, which stagnates their career. So I looked at it and I said, you know what? I'm going to try and be a medium. I'm going to try and do as much as I can if I feel really happy about it. And as long as I'm comfortable with it and I feel like I'm not doing too much. But I'm also going to sit back and do sometimes the minimum of work, which I need to do to get myself by. But it's because I might have been asked to do a task, which I know is not my task, it's the manager's task, but he's asking me to do his work. Don't get me wrong, I'll do it, because at some point I want to become a manager. So I have to understand about the work which he's doing. So that's where I've been at with that. Again, it's just a thing of like not giving up, man. Because you see the point of not giving up on something what you want for yourself, yeah? Anything which is worth anything is going to be hard work in construction. There are the odd people who have things handed to them. I'm not that person. And I understand that I'm not that person. And it doesn't worry me that I'm not that person. I just know that I have to be the person who is constantly trying to improve on myself or work on my own ability, right? So when you get into different workplaces and stuff like that, you're not established. So you want to make a name for yourself in the right way, which is showing people what you can do. Again, it's not a point of being big-headed, because a lot of these people are adults at this point. So some people know how to do stuff, but they just regularly do not do it. And you might do it more fluently than them. Again, if you can teach someone something, it's like maybe a little skill for themselves. Like I've been on sites many times and just doing general maintenance. We might have like a blocked toilet. Electrician might say to me, oh, I've never unblocked a toilet. To me, I'll be quick witty and say something funny to them. But again, to themselves, they're saying, I've never done this before. So showing them how to do it is also going to help them how to unblock a toilet in their own house. But now they can do the job for themselves and they don't have to rely on me as the plumber to be able to come and do that for them, because I've showed them how to do it. And I do believe in showing someone how you would do something, which should be the correct way, will install a lot of confidence within others. And I've seen that, because I've seen grown men thank me for telling them how to do something like that. And I'm saying, so if it was blocked at your own house, what would you do? But again, that's me exercising my brain and thinking about what they're gonna do. That's beside the point. You now know now, so you now have that little bit of skill to go with yourself and do that. And changing a tap and stuff like that. But I would equally go to the fuse board with them and learn and see different ways how they're testing stuff, or testing for breakers, or listen to them telling me things about electrical things, because I understand in the circle of work which I'm in, understanding and knowing allows you to be more confident, but actually allows people to say, okay, that person does listen when it comes to this scenario or saying this. Like if you got a LV switch room which has high voltage and all that, you shouldn't really be going in there, even to be doing ppms, because yeah, it's dangerous. It says it on the door. So again, why are you going in there? We don't know. But anyway, you need to know certain things, and I didn't know that until this guy told me that when I was at work. So I was like, all right, cool. Listen to him, because again, he's got the qualifications. So I respect him. Do you get it? Respect coming from going through just to be able to get those qualifications at a later time in his life. He was like in his 50s, so I appreciated his knowledge when it came to the work, but also his input as well, because he did have some very good valid points, and that's all part of like not being on and like shutting people down. I feel that people do that a lot because they know who they want to learn from, or they know who they rate in life, or who they think is up. So they just want to get information from those types of people, which there's no problem with that. Just make sure that it's a good source. I try and learn off as many people as I see that other people are learning off of, and also research some stuff for myself, because again, I'm a person who is quite self-taught on a lot of things when it comes to social, when it comes to content. As self-taught. Again, I've never been on any courses, but there is nothing wrong with going on any courses. I feel that that whole persona and understanding, or saying to yourself, I've got these qualifications, which might be at MBQ level 2, 3, and I'm looking for work, and that's all I've done, and blah blah blah. Get more qualifications, because that allows people to understand you still have the thirst for knowledge. And I think me being in education has always kind of taught me that, because this thirst for knowledge, it's not like wanting to be the smartest person in the room. It's understanding that every year goes on, knowing a little bit more just makes you a little bit more wiser. And that's the whole thing. And I'm more wise enough now to know that you shouldn't give up on your dream if it's to get that motion in construction, because it can come from loads of different things. It can come from your network, your personality, your style, how you present yourself to other people. That's a big thing. Like presentation is a massive thing. Like your representation of yourself in regards on how you see yourself professionally, how you conduct yourself, all of these things are tick boxes for people. I have been headhunted, and I've said this to people before, by very high end contractors who only deal with like billionaires, yeah. And it's a certain type of person. It's not for everybody, and I've said this before, but that taught me how your acting is in the right way, because that's the type of level of person they would want. So it's not for everyone, like I said, but you adjust to the situation and apply yourself in it, because the lessons you learn when you're like in your 20s, yeah, they're going to pay off for your 30s. Trust me. I'm in my 30s, and I know, because I can tell these lessons now. If I just like carried on like the way I was when I was in my 20s, I would not be reaping any of the profits from my lessons which I've failed or I've made mistakes in. And again, failing and making mistakes is a common part of life. When someone says that you're failing something, you're not a failure. Yeah. So just get that right, because people like to label people with things, and your label plays a part on how you feel in yourself, like whether you're emotional or not. We don't care if you're not emotional, but it's like most people are. So being real with yourself, yeah, and saying that the way I felt in this point, it didn't make me feel good. So feeling good, that's very important, because that's all to do with your morale as well, man. Always uplift yourself. Be thankful for you at the end of the day. Everyone's not going to be thankful for your presence and all that. You have to understand that. You got people who support you and you've got people who don't support you. But you supporting yourself in ways which are necessary for you to grow are always positive. Um, Listen to, and if you do have people sending you positive messages just about yourself and upbringing and uplifting yourself or uplifting your yourself in general, I've been watching things like stoicism. Yeah, so if you ever search stoicism on YouTube, it's a way of people of changing your mindset, yeah, for you to understand that, you know, like sometimes being patient in certain situations is gonna play in your favor. You sit back and you listen to some things instead of making rational decisions when you are angry, frustrated, emotional. Like it holds back certain things and it allows you to focus on some of the things which are more important, like focusing on trying to get motion in the movement of moving forward in life in construction is something which I focus on, and just not the negative. Do you get what I mean? Because the negative is always going to be there, but it's the positive is which is going to always pull you up. At some point, some of us might start praying or being thankful. Like today, I had some Jehovah Witnesses at the door, yeah. Even though it was super cold, guess what? I never turned them away, because see, when someone's telling you like godly words and stuff like that, yeah. For me, I believe that it's like it's a sign, but it's a way of someone shining down on you. Do you get it? Like someone shining down on you and they want to tell you a message. If you're always too busy rushing around, you will never understand that message. And I said a lot of messages in this video, but the message you need to take for yourself is that you'll always have your chance, you know. You just got to understand when the opportunity is for you and what you're to act on it. Do you know what I mean? Like I always said, if somebody gives me a good break, I'm going to make it, because I'm a person that will put the all into it. I won't mess about. I'll get it done. And that's something which I promised myself. Like I promised myself that I would set myself some goals this year and stop pussyfooting around it and not do it at the end of the day. So vision board, goals, where you're going to strive to, how you're going to do it, and making yourself successful in your own right. Success is only measured by yourself, not others. Do you get it? We all look at each other and, you know, point the finger and say, oh, you know, is that person successful? Is it? You worry about that for yourself. That's the main thing. And if you feel good about it, you're moving in the right direction. Keep your head up. It's a struggle, but nothing is done easily. Just remember that. Another thing as well, subscribe and give it a little thumbs up. I've got to keep asking people for the likes, the shares, and subscribing as well, because making content is difficult at some points, but it becomes easier when you know you've got people to support you. And supporting me for making these videos when I come on is just a sign of you guys and girls just maybe agreeing with some of the content, but also maybe just appreciating it, just saying I'm thankful that you was able to make this post. And that means a lot, you know, like looking at numbers and stuff like that, whether you're getting a lot of them or not a lot of them, it could be depleting, but it's not depleting for me because I know that we're building a community here. So make sure you subscribe. Like Vibes Cartel says, what's under my nose? I'm out.